Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a Screenwriter's Rant on the book of Boba Fett. The trailer has dropped, and it doesn't look bad. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links are in the description, including the Pineys books 1 through 7. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. Trade paperback, ebook, and Kindle Unlimited is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal. Right, Little Joan? All right, let's check out what we got here. The Star Wars thing is really getting long in the tooth, and I have problems with it. I mean, visually, it looks amazing. Visually, it looks great. I know Star Wars fans, you love Boba Fett. I don't think he was meant to have his own series, to have his own movies. I get it, he's popular, but like a lot of side characters, that's true because he's kind of a badass, but he becomes less of a badass when you put the focus on him, and that's part of the problem. Plus, the long storied history of Star Wars kind of got screwed up in my view. But that being said, this is a good the entire premise of a intergalactic mafia sort of thing is very appealing to me, and I think could be very good. In fact, I have pitches like that, original pitches. But the problem with this in terms of Star Wars is the reality of Star Wars is they never quite get it right. And not for this. Like, Star Wars wasn't designed necessarily for this. It could have been. Like, the door was open. And I'm sure somebody out there is a Star Wars fanatic will tell me, well, in this book, they blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, if you map out the money system and how things work on various planets, that would work. The problem is the more well-known movies now kind of just ignored all that, right? So I saw Solo, which, oh God, a friend of mine dragged me to that. Brutal movie, and that had the early days of Han Solo and Lando, and like it had money in it and gangsters, but there was no infrastructure for them, right? So they're robbing a train, some kind of space train or whatever, like where they didn't even have money. Really? I mean, this is part of the problem with Star Wars. Like, they didn't really establish the money in the original movies either. Like, it's just Harrison Ford loading boxes onto a thing because he owes Jabba the Hutt money. Generic money. And I get it. It could have worked. But that's the one part you'd have to delve into just a little bit. You wouldn't necessarily have to explain it on screen every single time. But you need a little, like, if you do a mafia thing in the United States, depending on the time period, you kind of know what the deal is. These guys are looking for dollars. So if they shake down a store owner in 1910 and steal, $20 from him, that's a lot of money in 1910. If they shake down a guy in, the 90s for $20, it's like $20. So there's a dynamic there, and this is what I'm good at writing. I mean, I've written a lot of mafia stuff. I've written books on mafia. So for this to work, it's important to know what's at stake, right? So when these guys sit around and say, well, we got to run the whatever it is, whether it's, the reason mafia guys did gambling wasn't because they necessarily love gambling, although they kind of do. They did it because there was money in it, right? If gambling had been legal, they probably wouldn't have gotten involved in it. They got involved with it in Las Vegas because they built, Bugsy Siegel built this big city, and they were able to do all kinds of things and control it. But, in New Jersey, sports gambling was illegal for decades. Couldn't do it. So the mafia made money doing that, right? So you have to have a government, a monetary system, something that makes sense. Like, okay, it's illegal to what? I mean, like, they had slaves in Star Wars. That's pretty friggin' bad. So if you're going to have slavery, you mean to tell me, like, gambling's going to be illegal? Or, smoking pot or the equivalent? Like, you got to establish all that stuff. Now, the show may do that. I'm not sure who's behind the scenes on this one. I hope would be like Favreau, because, The Mandalorian, I've heard great things about. I've seen clips from it. It looks good. You can make all that stuff work. But you need that sort of foundation, or else it's just a bunch of fake tough guys trying to out-tough each other over stakes that you don't understand. And then, invariably, they will end up trying to kill each other because that's the only stakes that are obvious to the audience. So you need other stakes. Like when you watch The Sopranos, you know that Tony Soprano, depending on the episode, is after a certain business or money, and, who owns this and who gets money for that. That's the important thing. And you don't need to know every detail in The Sopranos, because in The Sopranos, it takes place here in the real world. It's very grounded in reality, so, you kind of get it. If he talks vaguely about a strip club, how can you talk vaguely about shaking down a strip club on Tatooine? Like, is it illegal? Are there even any cops? How does the Empire enforce laws? Do they? They're clones. These are the things you got to work out if you're going to do this kind of stuff. Which is why I don't think, I understand why they're doing it. Boba Fett is cool. I get it. But if you started with an original idea, you can make all that stuff up right out the gate. You wouldn't have to worry about what's gone before, especially the stuff that's gone before that effed it all up. So will this be good? Oh yeah, I know, you Star Wars fans, you couldn't wait for this. But be careful what you wish for, because maybe it won't be so good. Maybe it'll just get tiresome, and maybe it'll make you not like Boba Fett when you get to the end to it. I don't know. What I do know is I'm not paying for Disney Plus just to see this thing. They ruined the Star Wars brand for me. I'm an old G fan. I like the old movies. New movies, I don't even like the prequels. F the prequels. They suck. And don't even get me started on the sequels. Come on. Oh, Rogue One. Who cares? Who cares about Rogue One? I don't care. I just don't care. You ruined the brand for me. Now, I can't read the Marvel Universe anymore either, for the same reasons. The same thing for the DC Universe. If you ruin the universe, but this corner of it's good. It's like, here's a pot of stew. Don't eat from this side. That's rotten meat. But this meat is delicious. No thanks. Anyhow, that's my rant. And I know you all hate me for it. But I'm out of Star Wars. Sorry. But if you're a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you're just watching this, grinding your teeth, saying, I'm going to watch it anyway. All right. You want to give Disney your money, knock yourself out.